Well, I watched a really cool video on cymatics recently that showed many different ways that sound can be represented through a visual way to represent sound. And one of those ways was sand on a plate that when it vibrates, the sand makes different shapes to represent different pitches, which was really interesting.
I'm looking at Britannica now,
Okay.
but I've looked at like educational websites as well.
Okay. You want to share some of the interesting information that you found there?
So I'm focusing on like a specific emotion, and I found that there's like a system that produces the emotion.
Okay.
Well, we found, like, we started our basic research, and we didn't know what we were kind of starting off of, and we took some photos outside and kind of got an idea of what we were doing. So now, yeah, we got pretty good.
Okay, so you want to share some of the resources that you've looked through?
Yeah, mostly we've looked at the YouTube tutorial videos and learned how to do it, and also some online blogger websites, and we've also looked through the Adobe the website to see what other people like professionals are doing with it. To see, I don't think we'll reach that level, but I think that we'll sort of get to their perspective and try and do what they do.
So one of the things I found which is really interesting is that the brain has different parts which react to different things. So there's the amygdala that reacts to like how it's processed, and then there's another part of the brain that like shows if you do fight or in response. And I've also found a lot of cool statistics and facts stating like what is the most common fear and why does this happen.
One cool thing I discovered is that sound does not work in space. So if you try and place, the reason behind it is because there's no air in space, and sound occurs because of the air molecules in the air. And sound is faster in water.
So have you been able to find any interesting, cool information about the
I
topic?
figured out like how fast light can travel, and it can like how if you like want to go to Washington DC and come back to Delhi, you can do that like 12 times in 1 second if you travel by light speed.
Okay.
There are different levels of sleeping, and the things that we should do for a good sleep. Like, it was really interesting for me that we shouldn't use like internet or mobile phones before you go to sleep. Like before 3 hours or 2 hours, you shouldn't use your phone.
Really?
Well, right now we're doing the experiments, so we haven't made any conclusions yet, but through research I found out about like how the angle at which you hit it affects it, whether it's a ground ball or a fly ball or a line drive, and about the velocity of your bat and the velocity of your ball together affect how far it's going to go.
I found that I'm working on like how Newton's second law and heckling connect, which is actually pretty interesting.
In 1642 was when the first mechanical computing device was created, and that is pretty early, in my opinion, for something like that.
All the designs, like rocker, the bevel, the concave, there's so much engineering and all the mechanics that go into it that can really completely, and including the fin, that can affect how the ski behaves and how it functions.
So I was trying to find a way to measure angle so I can get data, and I found this app. It's an app that measures angle. When you tilt it, it shows. So next class, I'm gonna start getting data.
So far.
Well, I've actually found that ASL is a lot more similar. Like your brain works a lot more similar when learning ASL to learning spoken language, and a lot of people think ASL is like pantomime, but it's really different.